there is a cost. You have to decide where you want that cost to happen. So you are going to pay. It's just, is it going to be on your grocery bill a little bit, or is it going to be down the road hospital bills when you're on, 12 different prescriptions at 55 years old?
Aloha, welcome Alex Clark. It's an honor to have you here at All Things Possible and in my hometown, Kauai, Hawaii. And I wanted to start with just kind of going back to your teenage self, because I just thought it was the cutest thing that you used to pretty much eat a lot of chicken nuggets, or was that your main food of choice?
That's not even, honestly, that is actually the best part of my diet, because at the worst, it was 6 Rice Krispie treats and Hawaiian Punch for lunch every day when I was in high school. I honestly don't know how I survived. The fact that I am now involved and entrenched in MAHA, the Make America Healthy Again movement is so ironic and hilarious, because I was so far from that my entire life growing up. And what's interesting is that my mom made homemade meals every meal. We rarely went out to eat. If we did, it was fast food, but otherwise, we made meals at home. I just snacked a lot. I didn't know anything about eating more protein. And, when you are really starved for protein, you are hungrier more often.
Right.
And so it was just constant snacking, goldfish crackers, Ritz Bits with cheese, and all of this. And chicken nuggets. And before I was doing the podcast that I do now, Culture Apothecary, I started in morning radio. Okay. And so that was my career started when I was 18 doing that. And everyone knew me in Louisville, Kentucky as the Chicken Nugget Princess. I was reading McDonald's ads. I mean, it was I was a totally different person. So when people are well, this is so easy for you. When you talk about health and wellness, you don't know how hard it is. You don't know the challenges. I'm girl, I invented your way of life. That was my way of life. If I was able to learn all this and completely change my life, literally anybody can do it, because I had absolutely zero help, knowledge, nothing. I completely started from the ground up, no help, and just learned it on my own.
So at what point did that click and you started to take ownership of your health?
During the pandemic for me, and it really started with them.
Wait, how old were you then?
Ooh, good question. I mean, what was I, 27, 28 years old?
So mid, late 20s. You're okay, something's got to switch here.
Right. So I'm going through this, and I had never heard the terms Big Pharma, Big Food. I didn't know what a GMO was. I thought organic was a sham. I thought this is dumb people that spend extra on food because they just have money to blow. That's how I grew up kind of thinking about food. And so when they mandated the COVID vaccine, I just felt as an open conservative, one, I was deeply unsettled by that. I was you can't tell people you have to take something or put something in your body in order to participate in society or keep your job. There's something deeply wrong with that, right? On a spiritual level, there's something wrong with that.
Right.
And so I'm don't love that. And then at the same time, Dope Sick is this show that comes out on Hulu, and it was Emmy award winning, had an incredible cast, and they were kind of going through the story of Purdue Pharma and the opioid crisis and how we got there with Oxycontin in the late 90s, and how they knew that people were getting addicted to it, that it wasn't an addiction-free opioid, and it was destroying communities and killing people, and they didn't care because of greed. And I just thought, well, this is an interesting story. I mean, this is the ultimate true crime story, right? Of how we got the opioid crisis due to corporate greed and just pharmaceutical industries allowed to run rampant. And so after that show, I was well, I wonder if the FDA has ever gotten anything wrong before. And could they be wrong about the COVID vaccine? Could there be information that they're not telling people? Were there other drugs that are, or vaccines or medical products in general that are being pushed on the American people that we don't totally have all the info about, or at least people aren't given true informed consent about?
Right.
And so that led me to learning about hormonal birth control. And that absolutely blew my freaking mind. As a millennial woman, where I don't know about you, but everyone in my grade, every single girl 12 to 15 years old was put on birth control for no reason.
No reason, but there has to be a reason.
No, it was like, oh, your cramps hurt, you should be on hormonal birth control.
Oh my gosh.
Your period's irregular, you should be on hormonal birth control. You have acne, let's put you on hormonal birth control. Like, it was a one-size-fits-all Band-Aid for a myriad of issues.
Right.
And this is the case for, I think, the majority of millennial women. And so I was put on that, had no idea about any of the risks or side effects. They were never explained to me. And nobody explained to me that the pill is really ideally supposed to be taken temporarily. You're not supposed to be on that for decades and decades and decades. And that's what women are doing. If you're not, having kids, you're just staying on the pill and you just re-up your prescription and nobody asks questions. And so I was closing in on a decade before I decided to stop. And this is right before. So I learned about hormonal birth control during the pandemic.
Yeah.
But I actually had gotten off of it like 2 years prior to the pandemic, just on my own whim. Like, I just felt like, why do I take this? I don't know why I'm still taking this. And I just quit cold turkey, but I didn't know anything. It was just an intuition. And I think I was just like always late taking it. I'd forget. I was like, this is pointless. I'm just going to stop.
Right.
So I did. But yeah, that really opened my eyes. And so from that point forward, I was like, holy crap, like, what is this big pharma, big food? They are intentionally getting us sick with this food. They know it makes us sick, and they're making trillions of dollars off of us with the healthcare industry. And nobody's batting an eye. And conservatives especially, we are the people that question anything else. We question mainstream media. We question lies about education. All of these different factions we look into, big tech, but yet we are not asking questions about big chemical, big ag, big food, or big pharma. It was like those were the last things that we really had the wool over our eyes on. I feel like, as a political group. And so the pandemic really changed a lot of people's minds, I think, because like me, most of my audience that listen to my podcast had never heard any of this information before either. So I started talking about it, and everybody had the same hunger as I did.
Okay, wait, I want to backtrack a little bit. So you dove into researching birth control, and what were you finding about birth control that kind of blew your mind? Because you kind of talked about it a little bit, but what actually were you finding?
One, that being put on the hormonal birth control pill, your rates of anxiety and depression skyrocket. And what's interesting is you have a record amount of young women put on the pill or any other form of hormonal contraceptive, and then they are saying, I have anxiety, I have depression, and then they're put on Lexapro.
Ugh.
And then there's side effects with that.
Domino effect.
It's this cascade of pharmaceutical intervention that starts at 12 or 13 years old, and it never stops because you are put on the pill, and then you are put on an antidepressant, and then you're on the pill for so long. And what people don't realize is that it is a Band-Aid. It is not a solution. So if you are dealing with hormonal issues, if you have PCOS, if you have endometriosis, when your body is irregular with your periods, if your periods are super heavy, if they're super light, if your PMS is crazy and you are a monster the week before your period, these are all signs of your body saying something isn't right. Listen to me. I'm trying to help you. This is a superpower that women have, that when you're on the pill and you're experiencing a withdrawal bleed and not a true period, you have no idea that your body is trying to tell you something. That's why having your period is such a gift, and it's so important. And when we as women take that away by going on hormonal birth control, we are missing such a huge key to our health inside. And what happens is we are indirectly causing infertility. Now, hear me, mainstream media, because every time I talk about this, they're like, there's no science to back this up. Hear me when I say this. Birth control indirectly causes infertility. The reason I'm saying indirectly is because these girls are not given informed consent when they're put on the pill. They're not told about the side effects. They are not told that it is suppressing your symptoms, that is hiding the side effects, but it is not fixing anything. It's not curing anything. You're like, well, my PCOS symptoms are gone. Great, but the PCOS is still there. The endometriosis symptoms, okay, you're relieved from that, but it's still there, and it is actually getting worse inside of you. So now you're on the pill for a decade because nobody's telling you to get off, and then you're ready to have a family, and so you decide to get off the pill, and you're having trouble getting pregnant. Oh, turns out you're in stage 4 endometriosis. You had no idea. So now you're on this infertility journey, and then guess what they say? You are now the perfect candidate for IVF. That will be $25,000. So see, this is the cascade of pharmaceutical interventions that 12-year-old, 13, 14-year-old girls are incapable of understanding.
Or thinking in advance, like, and then the lack of consent, they're not even being able to imagine the long-term effects of what they're being offered.
Exactly.
It's insane. I mean, I'm super aligned with you, and I'm so grateful that for some reason when I was a teenager, I started getting into health, and it really fascinated me, and I missed out on a lot of the pain that I could have gone on. But I hope that anyone listening today, that you're inspired to like ask questions, like find your own consent. Like, I think at the end of the day, like we have to inform ourselves, because likelihood the doctor will not inform you. And I'm like,
so good. Yeah.
I'm such a believer in being able to solve majority of our health issues through diet and lifestyle and kind of problem solving along the way. I've had to problem solve things that I've dealt with along the way, and you truly can do so much through diet and lifestyle, and the doctors are not incorporating this in their practice.
Well, what you just said about you need to be your own advocate is like incredibly important advice. And she's exactly right, because your doctor does not care about your health as much as you do. Like, they're a doctor, and I do believe that most doctors want what's best for you, but they are not given
the tools.
They're not given the tools. Ask your doctor, if you see a conventional medical doctor, ask your doctor, how much time in med school did you spend on pharma versus nutrition? That tells you everything you need to know. If you are going to your doctor saying there's something wrong with my periods, there's something wrong with my hormones, I want a full hormone panel, I want answers for my PCOS, I want answers for my endometriosis, and they say, well, the pill, that's your answer. You just need to get on the pill. Run, don't walk. You need to get another doctor. And the reason that they're just saying birth control is because they just don't know how to get to the root cause and fix it. There are doctors who are going to help you get there if you go see a functional medicine doctor or you go see a naturopath. Now, the caveat here that I have to say is that those doctors who are actually going to get to the root cause of whatever is causing your health problems are not going to be under insurance. And you say, well, that's that right there. I can't go see them. Hear me. Cash pay doctors are the best doctors that are so incentivized to figure out what is wrong with you and work with you on this journey. Insurance, there's just so many roadblocks. That's why all they can do is just give you different prescriptions. That's why they can only do birth control. They don't even have the tools, or insurance doesn't even allow them to run the tests needed or do the treatments needed that are really going to help you. And so it is so worth it. If I, was dealing with significant issues and it was like, okay, skip getting my nails done, skip the Netflix, whatever for a couple months, like take 6 months off those things so that I can get to the root cause of my health journey, so that I am not battling infertility or whatever else a couple years down the road. That would be worth it to me. But everybody's priorities are different. And so you've got to ask yourself, those questions. But it's a lie and just so dark to put young women, teenagers, early 20s, on the pill and act like their problems are solved. And then they just don't even realize that, 6 to 10 years down the road, those problems are not gone. They are still waiting for you.
I think that's so sad too, though, the fact that birth control can even cause these depression-like symptoms. And so in the prime of like your youth and your vibrance, you're stuck in a world of depression and darkness. And this is just so devastating when we literally can just eat a little healthier, get some sunshine, eat good food, surround yourself with people that love you. And like, you can literally change the symptoms.
And that's not even, that's not even the tip of the iceberg. I mean, when you look at the side effects and risks of birth control, the insert packet that comes with the pill is literally like 12 newspapers stapled together with the world's tiniest font. That's how much is on this. And it's like a blanket. Like I could literally sit here and cover my entire body with this sheet like a blanket. It's so huge. And what people don't realize is, one, if you are on the pill for about a decade, 9 to 10 years, your likelihood of developing an autoimmune disease is over 230%. I now have Hashimoto's that I deal with. Nobody told me that. Nobody told me about some cancers, your risk is lessened beyond the pill because they love to focus on that. But there are also some cancers, your risk is heightened on the pill. You have a risk of, depending on what contraceptive method you're using, you've got a risk of blood clots. You have this really strange phenomenon where you're like going through life completely dull. It's like you're seeing in black and white and not seeing in color.
Did you feel that in your own life when you got off the birth control?
I didn't, but so many women in my life have, where they got off the pill and they're like, oh, wow, I have a personality.
Oh.
Like, I genuinely thought that I had no passion for anything, that I didn't have strong interests. Like, I hear music differently. I taste food differently.
So you did have a shift.
Well, I had a small one.
Yeah.
And I think it was more with irritability and mood. But I have friends that were like, I genuinely like music sounds different. Like, everything is different for me.
Wow.
And that is really, I think, substantial. And,
Totally.
and also the type of man that you're attracted to. This is tea.
Okay, wait. This isn't conspiracy?
No, this is absolutely true.
Didn't
Like,
you share a bunch of this on social media and you got a lot of messages?
they
from
always
women
say
all
this.
over?
They always say this, but there's been like a ton of studies. I mean, go to PubMed and type in birth control attraction, and you're going to see 100 studies on this.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, so when they say this stuff, like there's no scientific basis to these claims, I'm like, I don't know what you're looking at. There's plenty of scientific basis. Sarah Hill is a great person to read her book. She has covered all of these studies and wrote a book called Your Brain on Birth Control, where she covers this extensively, all of the different side effects and things that's happening mentally and emotionally while you're on the pill. But you are attracted on birth control to a more feminine looking man, or a man that is genetically more like your cousin than a macho masculine man with like the strong bone structure and all of that. Like, that's actually what women are attracted to. But on the pill, you're not attracted to that. And so it's really crazy. There's these women that get married while they're on the birth control pill, and then they get off and they're like, oh, I'm not attracted to my husband. I have to completely relearn being attracted to my husband.
Right.
And that's devastating.
Yeah.
Because they're grossed out. They don't like how they smell. They don't like how they look. They're like, who did I marry? And so now you're in it, and now you got to work through that in a marriage. So there's so much that young girls are just not told. And I think if women were given true informed consent about hormonal birth control, they would choose something else. And the other options are natural family planning, tracking your cycle, understanding that there's only a handful of days that you can get pregnant out of a month. You don't need to completely get rid of your period and be on a pill 30 days a month when you could only get pregnant a handful of days. And again, understanding how important it is to have a true period and not a withdrawal bleed, which is what you get on hormonal birth control. And then the other thing is just when I talk about this, the mainstream media likes to really fearmonger and tell people that I'm trying to ban the pill. I'm trying to get birth control banned. I've never said that in my life. I mean, just to be clear, I want women to have informed consent about it, and then I just think they wouldn't choose it.
Right.
So,
or they would, because they don't necessarily care about their health, and they just want the outcome of not getting pregnant.
And there's still a chance
can still get pregnant
on the pill to get pregnant. So that's the thing too. You have to be your own best advocate, like Bethany said, and you have to sit there and do the pros and cons. Okay, here's all the pros of being on hormonal birth control. Here's all the cons. And you have to decide based on your life, your wants and needs, what is going to work for you. Okay. And that is nobody's decision to make but you yourself. And that is what the Make America Healthy Again movement is all about, is that you do have control of your health decisions and nobody else does. And so I can't tell you like for sure get on or off. I mean, I would almost like recommend you're not on it just because like I feel like the cons outweigh the pros. But again, you might be the exception, and that's fine if that's what you choose. But the point is that you have the information to make that decision for yourself, and that you're not pressured by outside forces that this is the only thing to do for you. Because it's just a lie. And, sorry to be crass if this is crass for you, but like you have the pull-out method, you have condoms. There are other things you can do, and all of these carry a risk, okay? The other part of this conversation that nobody wants to have is if you choose to have sex, you are then consenting to, I could have a baby. Whether you are using condoms, pull-out method, birth control, or not, or nothing, whatever it is, you are participating in an act where you know the outcome could result in a baby. Just like when I push a button on a vending machine, there's a chance that, sometimes you push and it's like, oh, it's sold out and you didn't know, and like nothing comes out of the vending machine. But sometimes you get a Coke. More often than not, you're participating in this act and you get a soda. Okay. Yeah. If you're having sex, there is a chance for a baby. So it's like, then you need to consider all of those factors.
Yeah. It's interesting too. You just pull back the bigger culture surrounding sex and that everything entailing in that, to me, feels pretty devastating. Like, I think it leaves everyone more disconnected and disjointed than ever because of the way our culture now approaches sex. It's very frivolous and free and loose and non-committal, and I think it brings more damage than good. And so you also might want to just consider, like, what role is sex in our life and how do you really want to approach that? Like, do you want to have endless partners, or do you want to have one intimate, solid relationship? And I know there's a lot going against marriage and relationships, but I do believe that God has a design for intimacy and sex that is so much more beautiful under the way He calls upon our life. And maybe you're not of faith, maybe you don't share the same views as me, but in my experience, like, I think it's just such a blessing to be done under one man and one woman. And this is a God-given gift, and this is what we're designed to have. And I think just looking at culture at large, like, there's so much focus on avoiding getting pregnant, avoiding having a child, but what should we put our focus on instead? Like, how can we approach life in a way that sets us up to succeed in these areas? And we're not full of fear, but we have a relationship that's steady, stable, and we want to welcome that child into our world.
Yeah. Yeah. I couldn't have said it better. I mean, I think that's perfect. I agree with everything you said. And it's just like, the thing is as Christians, like, we knew from the jump that our views were never going to be popular.
Right.
It was never going to be widely accepted. And so I just think, like, it takes courage to just say the truth.
Right.
But you will find the confidence to be able to stand in that, knowing that you are standing with the truth. And the thing is that truth and time go hand in hand. And when people ask me about these, like, this is radical view that, like, women don't need hormonal birth control and that it's making them so unhappy. And I'm like, okay, so we did it your way, right? Largely as a society, we did it your way for the last 50 years. We told women have unlimited abortions, have sex like a man, work like a man, be on birth control. Are we happier? No.
There's a lot of statistics that say otherwise.
Exactly. And so I'm just like, truth and time go hand in hand. Standing with that, it might be unpopular in the moment, but you know that by sticking with the truth that you'll be rewarded for that later. And so we just have to have confidence in Christ in that.
Yeah. So over the last 5 years now that you've been hosting Culture Apothecary, right?
Okay. So 1 year.
Oh, 1 year?
It was a different name before. So I have been podcasting since 2021.
Okay.
But I rebranded to be exclusively health and wellness with Culture Apothecary a year ago. Okay. Yeah. So, like, I had been telling Charlie Kirk, who's my boss. So my show is produced by Turning Point USA, if you don't know. I've been telling Charlie that the writing was on the wall. Young women voters, especially undecided female voters, were really, really interested and passionate about health.
Right.
And that this was, I predicted, going to be one of the driving factors in the 2024 election. That if we were able to talk about fixing the chronic disease epidemic that's going on currently in the United States, I think we could win. And he was totally on board. And so February 2024, I started working to completely rebrand my show to a new name and then say it's exclusively, health and wellness from a conservative perspective.
Right.
And so I had no idea that Bobby Kennedy was going to endorse Donald Trump.
Right.
I mean, we didn't know, like, all this Maha stuff was going to happen. And so what was crazy was I am sitting at this rally in Glendale, Arizona, where Bobby Kennedy comes out and endorses Trump. And I'm sitting there seeing this happen. And 2 weeks after that, I knew that I was rebranding my show, that we were about to announce my show. And I was like, oh my gosh. Because I had told my team, I was like, hey, I need you guys to brace yourselves. Like, this may go really under the radar. Like, it's an election year. People may not care, super heavily about, like, a health and wellness podcast. But, like, once the election's done, people will care. God knew better, because when that happened and then it was like, well, who's talking about health and wellness on the right? It was me. And so it was my show. And then it absolutely explodes in September of last year because it was like the conservative Maha girl.
Right.
And so it was just like, it was just so crazy. My life changed overnight. And just did a bunch of activism, got to testify at the Senate with Bobby Kennedy and Senator Ron Johnson and the Meanses and Food Babe. We testified on chronic disease and protested at Kellogg's last October.
I saw that. That was amazing.
Yeah. So we did all of those things, and it just, I had never planned to be an activist. I never planned to be in health and wellness. It's crazy because sometimes I think as a Christian, when you're going through life, you don't understand how certain things connect together. Like my career in radio, that's random. And then to go to Turning Point USA, which is like conservative politics, that's random. Oh, now I'm hosting a politics. That meshes both of those things together. Oh, now I'm getting into health. Like, okay, the pandemic happened and I had my mind changed, blah, 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 blah. Everything that I have done, I can now see in hindsight how God connected each thing, just like a thread connecting everything. And it's just been so beautiful to be like, okay, God, I see why and where you led me and at the exact times that you had put me in those places, which was just wild.
And you look at the health of our country, I feel like so many people are hungry for information because they are struggling in their health. They're low in energy, like skin's not looking pretty, like weight issues are a challenge. Like there's so much going against the American health in particular. People are hungry for that and they want solutions and they're not finding it from their doctor. But also it can be really overwhelming where to look. So I'm sure when you launched your podcast to be more health focused, there's already so many people hungry, like confused, like they don't know what to do and how to get to where they want to go to get healthier. And so you're finally bringing some sort of solution that is education. Like we need education to make the choices to get to a healthier version of ourselves.
Well, and you know what is crazy? Okay, hungry is the perfect way to describe this because figuratively what you're saying is we're hungry for this truth and this information, but also literally and physically, Americans are actually starving.
Right.
Hear me what I mean by this. The reason we are so unbelievably fat, and Harvard just came out with a new study. They said now it's nearing 70% of adults in the United States are morbidly obese. Guys, I don't think you understand. The next generation is predicted to not outlive their parents. That is how sick we are. This is unprecedented. And the reason why we are starving and so fat at the same time is because we are not eating real food.
Right.
We are constantly starving because we are not eating real, alive food that is nourishing your body and filling you up. We're not being satiated by the ultra-processed food because it is dead food. 80% of food in the grocery store is not food.
Right.
When we are eating that, we're not getting filled up, and so we are starving, and so we are eating more and more because we're like, man, I just ate like an hour ago, but I'm starving again. It's because you're not eating the right things. You're not eating protein. You're not eating, good carbs. You're not eating vegetables and fruit and fiber. And like people are like, well, that's just not fun. I love ice cream and all these things. Guys, ice cream can be a health food. If you look at the back of the ice cream,
I eat a lot of ice cream too.
Dude, like real ingredients, like there are some ice cream brands out there that are real ingredients. It's like literally 4 things in there. That's real ice cream. This stuff that they're selling at Walmart that has like xanthan gum and monodiglycerides and all of this, and it doesn't melt. This is a great homeschool science experiment to teach your kids about good food and bad food, okay, and real food and dead food. Take them to Walmart. They're going to be so excited. You're going to be like, we're going to go get ice cream. And then buy the Walmart ice cream, say, but we're not going to eat it. We're going to eat it tomorrow, maybe, but we're going to put it on the counter and we're going to see how long it takes to melt. This ice cream will not melt.
Oh my gosh. Which ice cream is this?
I mean, basically any of these like typical big food brands, they don't melt. It's so disgusting. So that, and then you get them real ice cream and then you say, now let's do this and let's see how long it takes to melt and it'll be, 3 minutes.
Right.
That's real food. Buy a container of ultra processed, nasty, like packaged muffins in a plastic clear see-through container. Put that on your counter. Let's see how long it takes to mold. My chiropractor in Chandler, Arizona has a container of muffins that he sits out in his chiropractor office that he's had since 2018. There's not a speck of mold.
Oh my
gosh. Your food, bread should be molding in a couple days, right? This is how you know your food is real. And you're like, well, but that's like the shelf life. And like, no, you might as well eat the stuffing out of your couch cushion. That is the same nutritional value as this food that you think you're buying at the grocery store. And people's, I understand you're worried about cost and all this. ultra processed food or eating Chick-fil-A 5 times a week is so ungodly expensive. It really is. It is not cheaper. You think it's cheaper. The bag of chips cost, the pre-made pizza rolls, those are expensive. Getting ground beef, which by the way, you can get 100% organic grass-fed ground beef at Aldi. You can find this stuff so cheap if you want to. You can get canned oysters at Dollar General.
Yeah.
If you want to find real nutrient-dense foods, you can. Chicken breast, white rice, eggs, beans. This is the stuff that's going to satiate you and your family and allow your kids to grow healthy and strong. You're going to see less allergies in your kids. Your eczema is going to be alleviated. I mean, the amount of things.
A lot more resilient to not ever needing antibiotics.
Yes.
We've chosen to eat very healthy in our household, and none of my children have been on an antibiotic yet. We've done a couple little topicals for a couple wounds that got a little out of control, but overall, we don't ever need antibiotics or any kind of medicine, so to say. If we're taking medicine, it's usually some sort of oregano oil with a cough juice to kind of mellow it out for the children. But from my experience, you can truly eat in a way that supports your body to not ever even need the doctors. We literally never go to the doctors because we haven't had any major crises yet.
And that's the type of story you hear from anyone whose family lives and eats the way you do. And it's not even just the food. It's being outside in sunshine. Right. It's breathing fresh air. It's being in nature. All of that is equally important to live a well-rounded, healthy lifestyle and really avoid sickness. I mean, remember in the Victorian era where they would be like, you're prescribed a day by the sea. It's real because they knew the negative ions and the experience being by the water, that was healing for the body and that vitamin D was healing for the body.
I forgot the name of the doctor, but he won a Nobel Prize because he discovered that sunshine essentially was healing his patients. It's actually a Nobel Prize winner who discovered this, and to get sunshine is part of healing. And now it's stay out of the sun 24/7. And it's just devastating. It's so devastating.
We are so vitamin D deficient in the United States.
I've spent my whole life in the ocean, and I've learned, just like wearing a seatbelt or a helmet, safety matters. That's why my family and I use shark bands.
Shark Bands uses patented magnetic technology to deter sharks by disrupting their electroreception. Kind of like a bright light in their eyes that says, nope, not today, shark face. No batteries, no charging, just simple, effective peace of mind.
Whether we're surfing, swimming, or just splashing around, Shark Bands is our go-to for ocean safety.
You want to geek out on how it works? Dive into episode 14 for a deeper look at the tech.
And check the show notes for the link to Shark Bands because your peace of mind in the ocean is worth it. Stay safe, stay stoked, and keep loving the ocean.
So people always ask me what supplements should I be on? And I hate this question because everybody is so different. What I take as a supplement would be totally different on Bethany, based on our labs and what we have going on. What I take could totally mess her up and vice versa. So everybody wants to know what I take and I don't like to tell you, except There's two things that basically, maybe unless you live in Hawaii, basically everyone can benefit from taking, and that is vitamin D3, K2, and magnesium.
Right.
Those
I'm big on the magnesium.
Yes, girl. Those two things will literally overnight, you will feel better. You will be like, whoa, I feel different in a great way. You're going to poop better. You're going to sleep better. You're just going to feel like you have, I don't know, something more to stand on, a little bit more energy and just life to you. I think you look more radiant. Those are just two things that basically one size fits all, will work for anyone in the United States because we're just so messed up.
Yeah, the one thing I've been kind of deep diving in the health realm is all the minerals that we need. So magnesium's a mineral, but then you need potassium, copper, iron, selenium, all these different minerals. They marry together so that your body can take the sunshine and produce the vitamin D that it needs in the body. But if you're depleted in any of these minerals, you're not going to be able to take the nutrients and really make the most of it. So it's kind of a big bunny trail, but even vitamin D, I don't take vitamin D I do get a lot of sunshine, but even then I could still be low in vitamin D if I don't have the copper and these other nutrients to take what the sun's giving me and give the body the energy that it needs. So that's one area I would deep dive if you haven't dove into minerals. Like, this is a whole area that has drastically changed my life and my health.
No, this is a huge one. I'm so glad you brought this up because the food that we're eating is being grown in the soil that is depleted of minerals. So this is the problem. It's like even our best organic food, and you're like, well, I can never win. I already know what the comments are saying. Like, it's never good enough. Like, everything's messed up. Yes. That's why the Make America Healthy Again movement is so important and crucial, because we're trying to like literally step by step fix all these problems. But this goes to regenerative farming. We do need to fix the soil that the food is being grown in so that we are getting the most out of it. But what's crazy when you bringing up mineral depletion and vitamin depletion, this is like the secret, web that is connecting to all your various issues. Depression, you're probably vitamin B deficient.
Right.
Like, you are probably low on vitamin B. You know who has a crazy story with that and was literally suicidal was Carolyn Call, Just Ingredients.
Oh, wow.
And she found out because she was eating like that. She was eating ultra processed food, the standard American diet, and was like, why am I so depressed? Figured it out that it was the food. And they were like, you are so low in vitamin B.
Wow.
Because we're supposed to have this diverse diet, right? We're supposed to be eating chicken here and red meat here and fish here and these vegetables and eating seasonally, and eating based on your region. It makes sense for you to eat a lot of pineapple because you live in Hawaii. I can eat. It's not like pineapple's bad for me living in Arizona, but it's not like native to Arizona.
The sad thing is, a pineapple out here at the local farmers market's like $30.
What? $30
for one pineapple?
You live here.
$30.
That's a crime.
And I keep seeing on my Instagram, shop local, shop local. I'm like, nobody can afford that $30 pineapple. It's devastating.
That is crazy.
Right.
Yeah, so like eating seasonally, figuring out in these months what fruits and vegetables are in season. People make those Instagram graphics all the time.
Right.
We do on the Culture Apothecary Instagram. We'll tell you like, hey, it's November, it's December, it's January. Here's what you should be eating and changing it up. And all of this is so cool. It's so freaking fascinating, and you geek out over it. And so this whole thing stops becoming a chore, and it stops feeling overwhelming, and it becomes so exciting and fun, because when you are diversifying what you're eating, you are strengthening your microbiome, because you're getting all of these different vitamins and minerals and nutrients that you don't get when you're eating food from boxes and bags, primarily, and fast food, right? And so when your microbiome is stronger and your gut health is better, then you are less likely to be permeated with issues and making you sick. See, it all connects. And so when people complain about cost, I hear you. And that's something that we're working on with the Maha movement. I know Bobby Kennedy, that's really near and dear to his heart, is to make healthier food more affordable. That's why we took the freaking soda off of SNAP, and we're trying to work on subsidies, not subsidizing the junk crops that are making your ultra processed food. And instead, let's focus on, helping people afford organic, healthy food. That being said, you have to understand that whether you're paying a little bit more upfront for the food that you're putting on your table or not, you are paying. It's just a matter of when. So it's not if, it's not that you're saving money somehow, maybe in the short term. Long term, it's medical bills. Long term, it is the days off work that you have to take because your kids keep getting sick and you have to miss work to stay home with your kids. It's your kids constantly, being in daycare and getting sick and having these weak immune systems. It's all of the above that adds up. And so there is a cost. You have to decide where you want that cost to happen. So you are going to pay. It's just, is it going to be on your grocery bill a little bit, or is it going to be down the road hospital bills when you're on, 12 different prescriptions at 55 years old or 57 years old, like my dad, who ended up dying a year ago from brain cancer and heart failure because he was addicted to ultra processed food. And so that was a huge lifelong battle and journey, type 2 diabetes, all of these issues. Yeah. And so that is what I'm trying to get people to avoid. I understand that walk. I walked it with my dad. I don't want people to have the fate that my dad had. You should not be dying of brain cancer and heart failure and having type 2 diabetes at 57 years old. That is exclusively American. And until you understand that, you don't realize how bad the problem is.
Oh my goodness, that is a bomb drop right there. And I wanted to go back and kind of touch on the woman who's like, oh, you're never going to win. Well, I just want to call out that mindset is also never going to win. So having the mindset of like, I can never get over this hump. I can never win. I can never face this challenge and find a healthier me. Like that mindset is the last mindset we should have. We need to believe what's possible, work towards what we can do. Slowly but surely, you can grow in knowledge, grow in choices, stack new habits in life, and slowly but surely you will get healthier if you're willing to just put in the time, the energy, the focus. And I've just seen it in my own journey. Like I never really had a crazy circumstance, but I would say after I had my second son, I kind of hit a wall. I was like very depleted in nutrients. I was very like emotionally all over the place. Like I would drop something on the ground and just start crying because I was just kind of a wreck and like my hormones were off. And I dug deep and started educating myself more. And at that point, I already liked eating organic, but I simply wasn't eating enough food. I needed more protein. I've seen some like hate for the love that the right wingers like protein. And I'm like, well, protein can drastically change your life. Like as soon as I doubled my protein intake, my life got substantially better.
Yeah, exactly.
So,
I agree with you. I think it's important to kind of analyze your life and say, am I idolizing convenience? What am I missing out on due to me idolizing convenience? And it might be the cost is your health. Of course, it takes longer to home make your dinner for your family instead of going through a drive-through. But look at the benefits of that extra 15, 20 minutes.
yes.
To me, that is worth it. You have to figure out what is worth it for you. Is it worth it? I got to wake up 30 minutes earlier to pack my husband a lunch for work, to pack my kids a lunch for school.
I love this call out. Thank
Yeah.
you. I think everybody needs to hear that at one point or another. Like we're all often choosing the easier route in one way or another.
And I'm not saying no shortcuts, right?
Right.
I
cook really fast, healthy
Yeah.
meals. Like I don't like spending a lot of time in the kitchen. I actually want to be at the beach as much as possible. So I figured out like our 10 to 20 minute meal cooks that are healthy, nourishing, and get everyone fed.
let me guess, you have an air fryer or something?
I don't. I
okay.
just kind of like do stuff on the stove and like, for example, we'll do like a quick curry with veggies and stuff. We'll do scrambled egg tacos with veggies or potatoes in there. I'm trying to think what else we did. Like a rice bowl. So that takes a little bit longer because you got to cook the rice with like a bunch of little goodies. I'll like always sneak seaweed into the meat or something. And the children have no clue they're eating some seaweed and getting their iodine in. Like there's clever ways to cook quick meals that are still nourishing, still get the job done, and you don't have to spend forever in the kitchen.
Yep.
Or maybe you get really into the kitchen and you cook amazing meals and you learn to embrace the kitchen.
Right. Yeah. And it's either one of those. It's just that I don't know why I think as women especially, we bought into this lie that cooking food for your family was somehow less than, or this was like the worst thing to happen to us, or oppressive. Taking control of the nutrition aspect of your family is such a privilege and an honor
And a joy.
and to know that you have, wow, how much, like what we just talked about, all of those different things that all this leads into, but just based on the food that you eat, the impact that you have as a wife, as a mother on your family by cooking homemade meals for them, nutrient dense homemade meals for them, is just priceless.
Right.
And how dare they lie to women and tell us that that was not one of the greatest honors that we could have, is to be able to contribute in that way. And I think there is so much fulfillment in that. And I'm not a wife or mom yet. And God willing, I am one day soon. I really hope. I can't wait for that chapter in my life.
Yeah.
But, for me, all of my best friends have like 4 or 5 kids each. I'm in the mix. I see what they go in, the good, the bad, the hurdles, the busy days, the stressed out, sports games and all the things. I know all the things. The reason I do what I do and the reason I talk about these topics is because I am in that season of my life. I feel like God blessed me. Okay, I'm going to give you this time to learn everything that you can before that chapter of your life. And so I really see that as such a such a gift from God that I got that opportunity. And I know so many people don't. They're like, well, if I would have known all this 5 years ago, then I wouldn't have done X, Y, and Z. Or if I would have known this 20 years ago when I had kids, I wouldn't have fed them this or given them this vaccine or whatever. It's like, that's okay, because you don't know what you don't know. And when you do know something, that's when, okay, now the pressure is on you that you need to do better, because now you know it. But you can't hold it against yourself or harbor this guilt because you didn't know it. That's unfair. And so this conversation is not about shaming. This conversation is about empowering and equipping us.
Totally. I love it. Yeah. And it's tough. It's tough when you realize you've made mistakes that haven't served your family, but God's grace truly is sufficient for us, and he can work in and through even in the mistakes. So, okay, well, I want to change subject a little bit. I loved all that. Thank you so much. But I wanted to dive into your Botox journey.
Oh, wow. Yeah. Okay, let's talk about that.
So you used to be like really into Botox. Are you still getting any kind of Botox?
I'm not getting anything. So
you cold turkeyed it.
Cold turkeyed it. Here's what happened. I had been getting Botox and lip filler since I was probably 25, 26 years old, consistently every 3 months.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, about 2 years ago, I had gotten Botox and started developing these severe flu symptoms.
Interesting.
Body chills, shakes, fever, really high fever for a week straight. And I thought, well, that's like a red flag. I mean, I'm like
it was right after you got your injection.
It was obviously it was a side effect of the Botox. I knew it. And I even called my injector and I was like, what do you think about this? She's like, I mean, I don't think it's the Botox. Like, I think it's something else. I'm like, it was this. Like, it totally was. And then about a month after that, I had gone in to get my hair colored, and my colorist is washing my hair, and she's saying, Alex, there's something really off here. You are losing a crazy amount of hair.
Whoa.
Like, I know what's normal for you for your normal like shedding and a hair wash, because we all shed hair.
Right.
This is abnormal. I think you need to get your thyroid checked. So that was when, so this is late 2023.
Okay.
That is when January 2024, went and did the Dutch test, which is a full hormone panel. And they were like, oh yeah, you have autoimmune. And it was like, wow. So Botox is like one of the worst things that you can get if you have an autoimmune disease.
And that's hard information to find.
Totally. And so that can just really exacerbate the side effects of what you're dealing with. And I mean, I was like severe joint pain, so fatigued all the time, just like incredibly hard to get out of bed in the morning, all those things, just feeling so run down and tired after working out.
Which can be adrenal and thyroid related, right? Like you're waking up in the morning kind of dragging.
Yeah. And so what I think happened was a lot of things. It was a lifestyle. All of us have a toxic load bucket when we're born. Some of those, depending on our moms and what was going on while we were in the womb, some of our toxin load buckets are going to be filled a little bit more than others. Some are going to be virtually empty when we're born. As soon as we are born into the world, your toxin load bucket starts to fill. Were you born via C-section? This is not a shame on C-section moms, and I'm a C-section baby, and so is my brother. But like born via C-section and instead of vaginally, okay, you're missing like taking a big gulp of mom's microbiome there that like helps you with your immune system and things. You know, what products are being put on this brand new baby? Is there synthetic fragrance in these products, different chemicals, talc, asbestos and whatever they've got baby powder. Then, it's the food that you're eating and so on and so on. It's vaccines. It is your diet for the rest of your life. For me, it was the standard American diet, fully vaccinated, flu shots every year. I was also as an adult going and get a flu shot every year because I just thought that was like a good thing to do.
Wow.
I mean, I was completely clueless. Botox injections every 3 months, filler. My body had enough.
Yeah.
And at the same time that my body started rejecting Botox, my body started rejecting eyelash extensions.
What?
Because I was getting those done every couple weeks.
And what would happen when you would get them?
I started having severe allergic reactions. Like my eyes were so itchy and my eyes were like swollen. And I was like, something is not right. So I had to go get all my eyelash extensions taken off. It was like my body was like, no more fake crap.
Was done.
We need a break.
Yeah.
And so I stopped. And I have not gotten Botox since. Now, I had stopped filler a few years prior just because not because I knew anything about the health stuff, but because I just started feeling like it was going out of trend to have like super massive lips. Now I think like I hate how I look in pictures when having that. Oh yeah, it was like such a mistake. So like if you're a lip filler girly, I really implore you to stop getting it and just like live with yourself for a second and give it like 2 months without. And I feel like you're gonna look so much younger and so much prettier.
Maybe do 6 months.
Yeah, I mean longer. Yeah, but I just think within 2 months you're gonna notice like it's undeniable. Like you look so much younger and better.
Interesting.
But so I stopped getting it because I am somebody that loves to like follow beauty and fashion trends, and so like I like to change it up. And so I was like, I think this is going out of style. I'm gonna pause on it, and then I like never went back. So I've been without filler for several years now, but Botox I was getting, but I haven't since August of 2023, and definitely my autoimmune symptoms are a lot better. So, that combined with diet, lifestyle, red light therapy really, really has helped me. It's just been crazy. So yeah, I think, some of these symptoms and feeling like extremely tired all the time or just in pain or sick, constantly being sick with flu-like symptoms and stuff and feeling like, man, I get sick constantly. Is it Botox flu? Like, are you experiencing Botox poisoning and nobody's telling you the truth about it? Could it be breast implant illness? That's another thing. A lot of people have breast implants and are so sick. And especially if you didn't even know before you got breast implants that you had autoimmune and then you get breast implants, dude, that is one of like that right there, that combination is like almost guaranteed that you're going to develop breast implant illness. So that's a whole nother severe thing.
Yeah.
So to me, I think being in my 20s, my mind has shifted so much since 20s to now early 30s is that I'm like, wow, not even worth it. It's just not worth it. And you learn that. This is just part of womanhood. I think you just learn these things.
Do you have anything more on the emotional and mental side that you would encourage women who it's like you're trying to strive after a certain look, but maybe there's something more mental and emotional there that needs tending to?
Yeah, I mean, I think all of us, we're human. We have insecurities.
For sure. Everybody does.
Everybody does. And I think sometimes you can overcompensate for those insecurities. And honestly, like you end up looking worse. I mean, I'm just going to appeal to that. Like you're like trying not to look bad. And I'm telling you that you look worse. I mean, what's crazy is like these articles that are coming out saying like, what is going on with Gen Z compared to millennials? Gen Z women look older than millennial women. And it is the Botox and filler. It's the filler especially. So I think there's something to be said there that like this stuff is aging you actually. It's actually doing the exact opposite of what you're trying to achieve. And learning to enjoy yourself, sit with yourself, and accentuate your natural beauty. It's really sad and depressing when like you go out and like every single girl under 25 looks like a clone.
Yeah.
Everybody looks the same. Like when you look at natural beauty on the red carpet of the 90s, every single beautiful celebrity like Julia Roberts and Gwyneth Paltrow and all these people, they had such distinct, gorgeous features. Julia's huge smile, like no veneers, and Gwyneth had this, like she has this really fine, pretty hair. That made them so gorgeous. And when you compare that to what women look like now, it's like everybody looks like basically a robot Instagram filter. It's gross. It's not appealing.
It's tough. It's like the culture is so strong and working in and through. Like everyone's being very influenced by Instagram. I always talk about how I try to train my algorithms to send me healthy, good things that are going to encourage me and try not to engage too much in things that create stress and an environment of like self-consciousness. And so being aware of like where I put my time in, especially on social media, and trying to like train my algorithms, so to say. But
and you have to also, if you are a Christian woman, you have to look at this as, am I idolizing, vain things, beauty standards, because I care about, other people liking me? Have I made an idol out of this? Have I made an idol out of Instagram likes and gaining this attention? That's like some serious self-reflection that can be really convicting and super, super uncomfortable, but it is needed. And so if you are more focused on, editing and face tuning your photos and, Botox appointments and figuring out like what is the next thing that I need to change about my body, then I think you really need to look inward and check your heart with the Lord and say, have I put another God before you, Lord? That's super crucial.
I love that. Thank you. Okay, so as we're kind of getting close to the end, I wanted to ask you a couple more fun questions. What's one crunchy thing you would never give up?
One crunchy thing I never would give
like
up?
something like a health thing that you're like, I will never give this up. Like this is forever my habit. And
Okay.
like something I'm gonna do.
Something super controversial. And by the way, you do not need to do this excessive like what I do, but I have this unbelievable morning smoothie that I've been like, the news has written about it and stuff because it's like so expensive when you put all those powders and potions together. It's like ridiculously expensive to buy all this crap, and it's unnecessary. Like, if you have a great protein powder that you love and you want to like stick that in a little water, I like a little aloe vera juice, or apple juice or orange juice, and then you want to do some fresh fruit and like an avocado, that's really all you need. I do a lot of extra stuff with like these fancy collagen powders and colostrums and weird potions and
I do
minerals.
some stuff like that too.
Yeah,
I'm
but
like adding vitamin C.
That's fun to me. And I mean, like, I would rather spend money on like that special smoothie than a designer bag, if I'm choosing. Like, so I love all those things, but I cannot give up my morning smoothie. It has changed my life because it's like 50 grams of protein to start my day. And I just love it. And it just really helps me for my long days filming and all the other things that I do.
I love it. Okay. And what's one toxic thing you'll never give up?
Ooh, probably coloring my hair. So I do color my hair darker. It's like the darkest brunette, almost black, as you can see. My hair is naturally really, really, really light brown, but I do prefer, I just think that I look better. I think it goes better with my colors. I think it accentuates my eye color better, just be a little bit darker. So I've been coloring my hair like this for, basically my whole life.
And what's one thing you've done under the guise of health that you kind of regret? Like something you thought was like good and healthy for you. I feel like anyone who goes down the health road like makes some sort of mistake that they think they're doing something healthy for them, but it's actually like counterproductive.
Well, I think, getting like obsessed with kale it's like kind of unnecessary. It's like,
right.
There's like different opinions on that, but like you talk to Paul Saladino, who's my friend, and he's like, dude, this is like literally horrible for you. Like, stop eating that. And there was just like a good couple years where everyone was like, kale is the ultimate
I went through
food.
a kale phase. I ate kale chips a lot.
Exactly.
I think kale might be maybe okay, like chopped up into soup on occasion. Like I think there's a place for these dark leafy greens, but more in like a cooked environment and not all the time. I don't know. I'm kind of not fully on board with absolutely no dark green sort of thing. Yeah,
there hasn't been anything serious that I've tried that I've like regretted or anything. I've definitely done some weird things, like, or I guess they would be weird to somebody who's more conventional, but like, I got my first colonic over the summer. I've never done that. I
just got one recently.
Yeah,
they're great.
Did you like it? I liked it.
I liked it.
Yeah. I thought it was great. And so
you feel lighter.
Yeah, you do. I think that something like that a couple times a year is great. I don't think you need to go in there constantly, but like I think like twice a year is probably perfect. Before your wedding or something, I think would be a great time to do it because you're just getting rid of a lot of extra sludge, and that can help make you break out and stuff too, having all that like backed up in you. So that was like a weird thing for me to do. You remember, I'm really new to this world.
Right.
So like
you're fairly
OG.
new.
You're OG. So things that I do, everyone's like, nobody's that like shocked by that have been in this space. Like they're like, okay, I did that 10 years ago. I'm like, well, it's new for me, like coffee enemas and stuff. Like I've never done this. So I'm like in the beginner track, but that's what's great for my audience is that I'm not an expert and I'm learning as I go and I'm interviewing experts.
Yeah. I love your journey though, because I think so many people can relate to like, I ate crap when I was little and I'm trying to change my ways now and it feels hard.
And millennials, that's especially true for us because we grew up with this fake food pyramid that was completely bought and paid for by industry. All of the advice we were given, our generation on health, was fake. It was not even real. Like telling us, if you need to be fat free, you need to avoid red meat. You need to have like the bulk of your diet. It needs to be carbs and grains and white flour and all this like enriched flour. Horrible advice.
Right.
This is why we're so freaking sick. And now our kids are sick because we didn't, know. And so we're feeding them the same way we know how to eat that we were fed. And so the buck has to stop now. Okay. So now millennials raising the next generation, we have it to completely change the trajectory of this next generation of children so that they are the healthiest generation that America has ever seen. And I truly believe that Gen Alpha and even beyond that will be some of the healthiest kids.
I sure hope so. I really hope that we can like really shift the future. And I think it starts with education. So congrats on your amazing podcast and the influence you're having on so many lives and moms. And I feel like moms are the movers and shakers in the household when it comes to health. So I hope you're encouraged by this conversation. I'm cheering everything on that you do in your life. I hope you find that special someone soon and can enjoy motherhood because it's such a joy. And thanks so much for jumping on All Things Possible.
Well, thank you. And thanks for taking me surfing today. My first time ever surfing.
I totally meant to bring that up. Wait, okay, we're not going to end yet. You surfed today. How did it feel for you?
Okay. The fact, guys, you will understand this. The fact that I've never surfed in my life and the first time I got to surf was with Bethany Hamilton. It's like going house shopping with the Property Brothers. You know what I mean? Or like cooking with Gordon Ramsay. Like how freaking cool. So that was my first time and I did get up.
Yes,
so I was really proud.
You killed it. And I'm not just saying that because I've taken a lot of beginners and some people like, you know, will get 1 or 2 good rides in their whole session and a whole lot of wipeouts. And you got like 5 good rides.
Yeah.
Like, you did amazing.
So we got up and I was scared, but I did it. And it was so fun. And it was cute because the guy that I'm dating was asking me, he was like, do you think like if you lived there that it would be something you would do? Like, would you keep going out there and trying to surf? I was like, I actually think I would. I think I would do surf lessons and try.
Oh my gosh. I think when it comes to surfing, like if you could get a bunch of lessons back to back, it's like kind of shortcutting that really painful learning curve because the ocean is so much to take in and just learning to read the ocean is half the battle. So yeah, anyone who's interested in surfing, definitely do the lesson. If you can do more than one lesson, but I could see you being like a longboarder. So there's 2 different types of surfing. Well, there's a few different types, but like I'm like the action sports girl. I want to do the crazy stuff. I want to get barreled. I want to do an air. I want to do a hard carve. I want to feel all the adrenaline. And then there's the longboarder who's more of like a ballet dancer. And she's like walking to the nose. She looks graceful and cute and like it's fun. It's cruisy. You're usually in more small waves and it's really like beautiful. And I could see you doing like longboarding, like walking to the nose and getting all comfortable with that.
Obsessed. So. Okay. I love that. That's my new goal for myself in life is to do that. Yeah. So it was such a great experience. You're a great teacher.
Thank you.
What a like once in a lifetime opportunity. So it was a blast. And you need to go to my podcast, Culture Apothecary, because I interviewed Bethany.
Yeah.
So we did a little pod swap. So I got to ask her a bunch of questions and I hope she doesn't get asked a ton just on a myriad of different topics that I think you'll be excited to hear from her on.
Yes. Well, thanks so much for the time and yeah.
Thank you for having me.